Guard of honor, advance, left, turn. Guard of honor, arms dressing, and words, dress. Guard of honor will form 2 ranks. Form 2 ranks. Guard of honor, shoulder dressing, and words, dress. Guard of honor, stand at ease. Stand easy.
Guard party, order, colors. Guard party, stand at.
Long live the king. I save the king.
Okay, yes, yeah.
I can drop you an email, but I could well. Thank you.
That's a winner shot.
That is.
It would be uplifting forever.
lines on the ground, and if you could put the wheel, the land out there, that would be great.
shot. They charge by the minute, you know.
You're funny. Grandpa's funny.
Who do you take pictures for?
CBC.
I think he wants to do that.
Oh, yeah, you can see it on this.
I think
It wasn't a new car.
Oh non, non, ça envoyé, c'est une non, c'était pas si cool que ça, c'était juste attends. Ah ouais, deux pancartes en même
So there's the cemetery here, and then there's that nice gate sort of past the farm. The street ends. There's houses at the end of that side. Going up to the west coast pit, that's the part of Toronto I saw the most. Going in. Yeah. The Winchester Club. But a CD spot. Thereabouts.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want men out of our change rooms. We want to in the shower. He's not our king.
they come from?
They're the calf central. Well, and you have to go back.
Central Band of Canadian Forces, 75 Parade, to inspect the front micros.
Ask if I can cross one.
Are we going to hear the pipes at all today?
Oh, you're not just going to march on.
And are you well recruited?
Yes, we are.
I'm not going to be wanting to do it.
Absolutely.
So you're keeping the tradition going. Will you thank them all very much for it?
I will.
Give them my best
The last one we did was 2021.
Special presentation. I wouldn't have doubted it. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Kind of early. Enjoy your visit. Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Hey. Hey, how you doing there? Good to see you.
that's what it must be that. He probably came in to do a sweep and then just handle it. We'll see if she.
Habe ich draußen übernommen. I see two different, they look two different sizes.
Here, the one on the right is longer than the one on the left. It's like, it looks like the one on the right is higher up. Maybe got pushed over. Once.
Well, yeah, it's a show. Concert period is a show. And it's, they think people are watching and interested, and then that's when they put on the show and come up with the slogans and echo. Yeah, like those talking on the weekend.
There's,
Concert weekend.
this is like yellow keys.
And then the Cheryl and her old friend. Did you see how much she went? Someone just dropped the mic open. It was supposed to be off and he's sitting.
10:34, 4 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah.
You're right.
When he stands, he's like.
But that's probably not the podcast. That's
No, yeah. It's not, so.
Pray be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Usher of the Black Rod, we will proceed to the House of Commons and acquaint that House that it is the pleasure of His Majesty the King that they attend him immediately in the Senate chamber. Huissier du bâton noir, rendez-vous à la Chambre des communes et informez-la que c'est le plaisir de Sa Majesté le Roi que les communes se rendent immédiatement auprès de lui dans la salle du Sénat.
A message from His Majesty, the King of Canada. Un message de Sa Majesté, le Roi du Canada.
May it please your Majesty. The House of Commons has elected me their Speaker, though I am but little able to fulfill the important duties thus assigned to me. If in the performance of those duties I should at any time fall into error, I pray that the fault may be imputed to me and not to the House of Commons, whose servant I am, and who, through me, the better to enable them to discharge their duty to their king and country, humbly claim all their undoubted rights and privileges, especially that they may have freedom of speech in their debates, access to your Majesty's person at all seasonable times, and that their proceedings may receive from your Majesty the most favorable construction. Qu'il plaise à votre Majesté. La Chambre des communes m'a élu président, bien que je sois peu capable de remplir les devoirs importants qui me sont par là assignés. Si dans l'exécution de ces devoirs, il m'arrive jamais de faire une erreur, je demande que la faute me soit imputée et non aux communes, dont je suis le serviteur et qui, en vue de s'acquitter le mieux possible de leurs devoirs envers le roi et le pays, réclament humblement, par ma voix, la reconnaissance de leurs droits et privilèges incontestables, notamment la liberté de parole dans leurs débats, ainsi que l'accès auprès de la personne de votre Majesté en tout temps convenable, et demande que votre Majesté veuille bien interpréter de la manière la plus favorable leurs délibérations.
Mr. Speaker, I am commanded by His Majesty the King to declare to you that he freely confides in the duty and attachment of the House of Commons to His Majesty's person and government, and not doubting that their proceedings will be conducted with wisdom, temper, and prudence, he grants and upon all occasions will recognize and allow their constitutional privileges. I am commanded also to assure you that the Commons shall have ready access to His Majesty upon all seasonable occasions, and that their proceedings, as well as your words and actions, will constantly receive from Him the most favorable construction. Monsieur le Président, Sa Majesté, le roi, me charge de vous dire que, ayant pleine confiance dans le loyalisme et l'attachement de la Chambre des communes envers la personne et le gouvernement de Sa Majesté, et ne doutant nullement que ces délibérations seront marquées au coin de la sagesse, de la modération et de la prudence, il lui accorde et en toute occasion saura reconnaître ses privilèges constitutionnels. J'ai également ordre de vous assurer que les communes auront, en toute occasion convenable, libre accès auprès de Sa Majesté et que leurs délibérations, ainsi que vos paroles et vos actes, seront toujours interprétés par lui de la manière la plus favorable.
Honourable Senators, members of the House of Commons, it is with a deep sense of pride and pleasure that my wife and I join you here today as we witness Canadians coming together in a renewed sense of national pride, unity, and hope. I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. This land acknowledgement is a recognition of shared history as a nation, while continuing to deepen my own understanding. It is my great hope that in each of your communities and collectively as a country, a path is found toward truth and reconciliation in both word and deed. This is my 20th visit to Canada, spread over the course of more than half a century, and my first as sovereign. As I've said before, every time I come to Canada, a little more of Canada seeps into my bloodstream, and from there straight to my heart. I've always had the greatest admiration for Canada's unique identity, which is recognized across the world for bravery and sacrifice in defense of national values and for the diversity and kindness of Canadians. To the First Nations, Inuit and Métis peoples, you have welcomed my family and myself to your traditional lands with great warmth and hospitality, for which I am humbly grateful. This year, we mark the 80th anniversary of VE Day and VJ Day. On Juno Beach, at Dieppe, on the Somme, at Beaumont-Hamel, at Ypres, and on Vimy Ridge. At those places and many others, forever etched into our memories, Canadians fought and died alongside our closest allies. Aujourd'hui, je vois des élus venant d'un bout à l'autre du Canada, de Saint-Jean's à Terre-Neuve et Labrador, de Victoria en Colombie-Britannique et d'Arviat au Nunavut. Je vois des gardiens des droits et libertés garantis par la Charte canadienne. En tant que roi, je tiens à vous remercier de vous mettre au service de vos compatriotes, d'un bout ou l'autre de ce grand et beau pays. You speak for your communities, representing an incredible richness of cultures, languages, and perspectives. We owe it to this generation and those who succeed us to think and act for the greater good of all. While the world faces unprecedented challenges, generating uncertainties across the continents with regards to peace and stability, economics and climate change, your communities have the skills and determination to bring a wealth of solutions. En encourageant la collaboration et en tenant des débats respectueux et constructifs, vous permettrez à ce gouvernement d'agir de façon audacieuse et juste pour le bien des Canadiens et des Canadiennes. It has been nearly 70 years since the Sovereign first opened Parliament. In the time since, Canada has dramatically changed, repatriating its constitution, achieving full independence, and witnessing immense growth. Canada has embraced its British, French, and Indigenous roots and become a bold, ambitious, innovative country that is bilingual, truly multicultural, and committed to reconciliation. The Crown has for so long been a symbol of unity for Canada. It also represents stability and continuity from the past to the present. As it should, it stands proudly as a symbol of Canada today in all her richness and dynamism. When my dear late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, opened a new Canadian Parliament in 1957, the Second World War remained a fresh, painful memory. The Cold War was intensifying. Freedom and democracy were under threat. Canada was emerging as a growing economic power and a force for peace in the world. In the decades since, history has been punctuated by epoch-making events: the Vietnam War, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the start of the War on Terror. Today, Canada faces another critical moment. Democracy, pluralism, the rule of law, self-determination, and freedom are values which Canadians hold dear, and ones which the government is determined to protect. The system of open global trade that, while not perfect, has helped to deliver prosperity for Canadians for decades, is changing. Canada's relationships with partners are also changing. Il nous faut confronter la réalité. Depuis la Deuxième Guerre mondiale, notre monde n'a jamais été aussi dangereux et instable. Le Canada fait face à des défis qui, dans nos vies, sont sans précédent. Many Canadians are feeling anxious and worried about the drastically changing world around them. Fundamental change is always unsettling. Yet this moment is also an incredible opportunity, an opportunity for renewal, an opportunity to think big and to act bigger, an opportunity for Canada to embark on the largest transformation of its economy since the Second World War. A confident Canada, which has welcomed new Canadians, including from some of the most tragic global conflict zones, can seize this opportunity by recognizing that all Canadians can give themselves far more than any foreign power on any continent can ever take away. And that by staying true to Canadian values, Canada can build new alliances and a new economy that serves all Canadians. The Prime Minister and the President of the United States, for example, have begun defining a new economic and security relationship between Canada and the United States, rooted in mutual respect and founded on common interests, to deliver transformational benefits for both sovereign nations. Simultanément, le gouvernement œuvre à renforcer ses relations avec des partenaires commerciaux et des alliés fiables. Sachant que le Canada possède ce dont notre monde a besoin et défend les valeurs que ce monde respecte. Le Canada est prêt à bâtir une coalition de nations qui partagent ces valeurs, qui croient en la coopération internationale et le libre-échange de biens, de services et d'idées. Dans ce monde nouveau, qui évolue à un rythme frénétique, le Canada tracera la voie à suivre. La démonstration en sera faite dès juin, quand le Canada présidera le sommet du G7. The government is guided by its conviction that the economy is only truly strong when it serves everyone. Many Canadians are struggling to get ahead. The government is responding, reducing middle-class taxes and saving two-income families up to $840 a year. It will cut the GST on homes at or under $1 million for first-time home buyers, delivering savings of up to $50,000. And it will lower the GST on homes between $1 million and $1.5 million. Le gouvernement assurera la pérennité de programmes qui permettent déjà aux familles d'économiser des milliers de dollars par année, notamment ceux pour les garderies et l'assurance médicaments. À ces progrès s'ajoute l'élargissement du régime canadien de soins dentaires, qui sera bientôt accessible à environ 8 millions de Canadiens et de Canadiennes, leur permettant d'économiser plus de 800 dollars par année en moyenne. The government's overarching goal, its core mission, is to build the strongest economy in the G7. That starts with creating one Canadian economy out of 13. Internal barriers to trade and labour mobility cost Canada as much as $200 billion each year. The government will introduce legislation to remove all remaining federal barriers to internal trade and labour mobility by Canada Day. Les premiers ministres de plusieurs provinces et territoires ont déjà pris des mesures pour éliminer les obstacles au commerce intérieur. Le gouvernement va s'appuyer sur ces progrès pour créer, d'ici la fête du Canada, un réel système de libre-échange à travers le pays. Il s'agit d'efforts essentiels pour permettre au Canada de réaliser tout son potentiel économique, mais cela reste insuffisant. To build Canada strong, the government is working closely with provinces, territories, and Indigenous peoples to identify and catalyse projects of national significance. Projects that will connect Canada, that will deepen Canada's ties with the world, and that will create high-paying jobs for generations. Given the pace of change and the scale of opportunities, speed is of the essence. Through the creation of a new major federal project office, the time needed to approve a project will be reduced from 5 years to 2, all while upholding Canada's world-leading environmental standards and its constitutional obligations to Indigenous peoples. The government will also strike cooperation agreements with every interested province and territory within 6 months to realize its goal of one project, one review. When Canadians come together, Canada builds things that last. Éliminer ces obstacles qui freinent l'économie canadienne permettra l'avènement d'une nouvelle ère de croissance grâce à laquelle le Canada va non seulement surmonter des guerres commerciales, mais en émerger plus fort que jamais. Cela lui permettra de devenir une superpuissance en matière d'énergie verte et conventionnelle, de bâtir une stratégie industrielle qui rendra le Canada plus compétitif à l'international, tout en luttant contre les changements climatiques, de bâtir des centaines de milliers de bonnes carrières dans les métiers spécialisés, et donc de faire du Canada une plaque tournante pour la science et l'innovation. Critically, the government will undertake a series of measures to help double the rate of home building while creating an entirely new housing industry, using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled workers, and Canadian lumber. The government will introduce measures to deliver affordable homes by creating Build Canada homes. This mission-driven organization will act to accelerate the development of new affordable housing. It will invest in the growth of the prefabricated and modular housing industry, and it will provide significant financing to affordable home builders. The government will make the housing market work better, including by cutting municipal development charges in half for all multi-unit housing. The government will drive supply up to bring housing costs down. To be truly strong, Canada must be secure. To that end, the government will introduce legislation to enhance security at Canada's borders. Law enforcement and intelligence agencies will have new tools to stop the flow of fentanyl and its precursors. The Canada Border Services Agency will be given new powers to examine goods destined for export, to prevent the transport of illegal and stolen products, including cars. Le gouvernement protégera la souveraineté du Canada en rebâtissant, réarmant et réinvestissant dans les forces armées canadiennes. Il stimulera l'industrie militaire canadienne en prenant part au plan Réarme Europe et contribuera ainsi avec des partenaires européens à la sécurité transatlantique. Et il investira pour renforcer sa présence dans le Nord, alors que cette région, qui est partie intégrante de la nation canadienne, fait face à de nouvelles menaces. The government will discharge its duty to protect Canadians and their sovereign rights from wherever challenges may come at home or abroad. To keep communities safe, the government will hire 1,000 more RCMP personnel. It will change firearms licensing and strengthen enforcement of yellow and red flag laws. Weapons licenses for those convicted of intimate partner violence and those subject to protection orders will be revoked. Through the deployment of scanners, drones, and helicopters, additional personnel, and canine teams, the government will stem the tide of illegal guns and drugs across the border. It will take these steps while protecting the rights of law-abiding gun owners and Indigenous peoples' long-standing hunting traditions. The government will bring a renewed focus on car theft and home invasions by toughening the criminal code to make bail harder to get for repeat offenders charged with committing these crimes, along with human trafficking and drug smuggling. During this time of great change, Canadians are uniting behind what makes Canada unique. La langue française et la culture québécoise sont au cœur de l'identité canadienne. Elles définissent le pays que les Canadiens, les Canadiennes et moi aimons tant. Le Canada est un pays où l'on respecte et célèbre les langues officielles et les langues autochtones. Le gouvernement est déterminé à protéger les institutions qui font rayonner ces cultures et cette identité dans le monde entier, comme CBC Radio-Canada. Protéger ce qui nous donne accès à des aliments frais, sains et de qualité les producteurs agricoles et protéger la gestion de l'offre. Nature is core to Canada's identity. In 2022, Canada convened COP15 in Montreal, which concluded with 196 countries striking a historic agreement to protect 30% of their lands and 30% of waters by 2030. To this end, the government will protect more of Canada's nature than ever before through the creation of new national parks, national urban parks, marine protected areas, and other conservation initiatives. The government will always protect the rights and freedoms that the Charter guarantees for every Canadian. The government will be a reliable partner to Indigenous peoples, upholding its fundamental commitment to advancing reconciliation. Central to this commitment is the creation of long-term wealth and prosperity with Indigenous peoples. For that reason, the government will double the Indigenous Loan Guarantee Program from $5 billion to $10 billion, enabling more Indigenous communities to become owners of major projects. As Canada moves forward with nation-building projects, the government will always be firmly guided by the principle of free, prior, and informed consent. Canada's immigration system has long been a source of pride for Canadians and of dynamism for the economy. The government is dedicated to rebuilding the trust of Canadians in immigration by restoring balance to the system. Le gouvernement instaurera une limite sur le nombre de travailleurs étrangers temporaires et d'étudiants internationaux, établissant un plafond qui, à partir de 2027, sera en deçà de 5% de la population canadienne. Simultanément, il attirera les meilleurs talents dans le monde pour bâtir l'économie. Et il fera savoir aux Canadiens et aux Canadiennes qui travaillent à l'étranger que s'ils songent à revenir au pays, il n'y a pas de moment plus propice pour le faire. Dans toutes ces actions, le gouvernement sera guidé par une nouvelle discipline fiscale, dépenser moins pour que les Canadiens puissent investir plus. Day-to-day government spending, the government's operating budget, has been growing by 9% every year. The government will introduce measures to bring it below 2%. Transfers to provinces, territories, or individuals will be maintained. The government will balance its operating budget over the next 3 years by cutting waste, capping the public service, ending duplication, and deploying technology to improve public sector productivity. In parallel, the government will take a series of measures to catalyze new investment, to create better jobs and higher incomes for Canadians. The scale of the government's initiative will match the challenges of our times and the ambitions of Canadians. Honourable Senators, members of the House of Commons, when my dear late mother addressed your predecessors 7 decades ago, she said that in that age and against the backdrop of international affairs, no nation could live unto itself. It is a source of great pride that in the following decades, Canada has continued to set an example to the world in her conduct and values as a force for good. À vous et à l'ensemble du peuple canadien, mon épouse et moi-même adressons nos sincères remerciements pour cet accueil des plus chaleureux. As the anthem reminds us, the true North is indeed strong and free. Members of the House of Commons, you will be asked to appropriate the funds to carry out the services and expenditures authorised by Parliament. May you honour the profound trust bestowed upon you by Canadians. And may God bless and guide you in all your duties.
East.
Rich.
still the House of Commons.
I am second term MP for Thompson Nicola.
You were family favorite of the state.
Thank you. Okay, I represent Gagetown, where you served way back in the day. Nice to see you.
Miss very much.
Nice to see you. Richmond, British Columbia. British Columbia, Richmond. Second term MP. Come to Richmond.
Watch it, David. David, you're in the way.
I know it sounds very unlikely if you know your father, but it was true. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out. Lovely to see you. Thank you. It's not too hot out here, I hope. Good to meet you. Thank you very much. Good to see the medals there. Congratulations. You work, all of you at the house. Hey, are you all at the house? You got the house here. You're going to see a lot of me. You're going to see a lot of me. Pleasure. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. How are the Bombers going to do?
They're going to Grey Cup.
They're going to Grey Cup? Guaranteed?
No.
that's why we play the game. Yeah. Fantastic. Lovely to see you. Great day. Great day. Great day for Library of Parliament. Okay, that's good. I don't have anything overdue yet. But, all good.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out. Hello.
Thanks for it's a lovely day.
Pleasure. How are you?
Bringing it with us.
Very excited. Yeah? Good to meet you. Thanks for coming out. The king hasn't been by yet, right? No, good. This is where the warm-up act. That's good. That's good. That's the way it should be. How are you? Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming.
Prime Minister, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we got the king coming. Warming up. Pleasure. How are you? Nice to see you.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes, what was it like in there?
It was very good, very powerful. It was great to see all the representatives of Canadian institutions there, the premiers, the Supreme Court justices, representatives of Indigenous peoples. It was very powerful, very moving, very Canadian.
And he spoke about languages.
Yeah. Oui, absolument. Il a parlé en français, et son français est très bien. Mieux que moi, c'est presque le cas pour tout le monde, c'est mieux que moi. C'est le que la mienne, il faut le dire comme ça. D'accord, merci. Pleasure. Nice to see you. Great to see you. Thank you for coming, warming up for the king. That's my job. And the queen, I should say. Boy, I've never seen so many medals. It's fantastic. You guys have done all these amazing things for Canada, haven't you? How are you? Nice to see you. God, what a great day.
Yes.
Good day. Summer begins. Summer begins. I know it's strange when you have to get the sun from England. There's normally it goes the other way around.
Anytime,
We're sending the sun to them. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you. I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Merci, merci beaucoup.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thank you. Great. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for what did you do for the? Is that right? Believe in the actually live it. Yes. Live it. The Canadian value. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I got the Queen's Jubilee Award.
Ah oui, moi aussi. Hein.
But I forgot to.
J'en ai mon médaille. Faire, mais il y a un peu de contribution. Et la prochaine fois que la roi et la reine visitent le Canada, je vais rapporter. Okay, merci. Great to see you. Oh, hello. Oh, we got very official youths.
See you soon in the house.
I'll see you in the house. I'll behave. I thought the speaker was looking great. He did a very good job. Pleasure. Thanks for coming. Great. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming out. Prime Minister. Pleasure. Great to see you. God, everyone is so well dressed. We're in Ottawa. We're in Ottawa.
Big occasion for the king.
I know, it's not for the king. That's great. Pleasure. Good day. Good day. Sir. Hello. Nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va?
Oui, ça va bien.
Oui, ça va très bien. Il fait beau.
Très beau.
Bon, la
Sous
reine
soleil.
est ici. Le Canada est libre et fort.
Absolument. Il fait très beau.
Absolument, c'est ça. Enchanté. Enchanté. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Did you come from Toronto or you just like support? All that? Great. Great.
Yeah, was the first responder for the fellow that was shot.
Yes. Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Merci, monsieur. Merci. Plaisir. Merci, Martin. Bonjour. Enchanté.
Saying, I'll bid adieu at the moment. And you were at the Royal Rose at Usher just... Yes. Just up here to the left. Just come on the road. Your Majesty's office.
Gives more space. Guys, give us more space.
I don't need two cameras, I just need one.
Crossing no further.
Cross on the left. Can we create some space for stills?
To the crossing. No, to the crossing and back there. The crossing's just here.
Have we got a stills camera?
Guys, we're crossing here. Toby, we're crossing the streets.
No. Okay, I'm getting like here.
Yeah, just this group here, so then we're over to the memorial. Just on your right hand side.
Step behind.
I'm very glad to see the bicycle match.
Get close, keep your focus and enjoy the moment, okay? Thanks, guys. Guys, we'll get you here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's just take a step back. Take a step back. No, back. You want to get a picture of it? Hal, just take a step backwards.
I want him on this side.
Okay,
that's good. That's good. In and out. In and out. Back up. In and out, and then we're all good.
Okay, guys, we're not to move again. Sorry, guys. Guys, as we get close, push the buttons and enjoy the moment.
Thank you for a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Just take a step back so we can get a picture for us now. Jag, we're good to hear.
Because you guys preventing my stays. That's going on. I like cool. If he stays like this, it's perfect. I want him inside. Come here. Come here. Put the keeper. Put the keeper. Just go back. Perfect. Thank you. Okay.
Guys, you get what you needed. Thanks, guys.
Shall quite a way to go. Okay.
Put my phones away.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the moment.
Thank you.
No, that's not live. He's staying there. Yeah, you know you are, so you should be next to him. Yeah, that's what it was. All right? Thank you.
Guys, we're good to hear. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the moment, guys. Guys, don't forget close to put your foot and enjoy the moment. Thanks, guys. Jack, I will point to you. Yeah, keep going, keep going. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, as you get close, keep your thumbs down, enjoy the moment. Thank you so much.
Young lady with the target.
Guys, great pass through. To the side. To the side. Back to the move. Back to the move. Watch the stand. Let's get the leg in. Right there. Move the pool in.
Let's go. On the road, everyone, please. Sorry to grab you. Everyone, off.
Guys, if we clear the pavement, it would be even amazing.
So are we doing another inspection? No, just a salute. Yes.
Caldonel! Salut Royal! Réponse!
Folks, you're right in the way.
You brought the weather with you.
It's your rain. You have to do it.
So stop for a little bit. We were nervous. We had to have one of those the fishing net, the fishing ropes around the tip of the screw.
Your rain. It's off right now. That's so much. Yes, it's not. We've got a drought. Black and grey. Back home to southern Europe.
Before you move on, sounds full person. Yeah, all right, yes, during the speech.
Well, straight and narrow. Make sure he delivers all right.
Yes. Means the world to deliver. Hasn't been right.
We'll try to stay there.
Exhausted.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we are, yes.
Your Majesty, the residents hold on there. Hold
I will never forget our time. I'd like to what it does.
That's always a big weight off the shoulder. Yeah.
You look tough when I was afraid of you.
And that's sanitized.
These gentlemen are holding their salutes for you, folks, just to let you know. What's that? These gentlemen are holding their salutes for you as you walk by.
Okay. Okay, so you go there. Thank you all. Thank you again.
We'll just wait here, sir.
Yep.
Tell me, just got it.
Prime Minister, how was the visit? Prime Minister, how was the royal visit? UK television.
Very good. Very good.
Everything you wanted?
It was a very successful visit, a good reminder of the strength of, of Canadian institutions. Really, this is about Canadian institutions. The King is the King of Canada. These are all institutions from Indigenous peoples through to the Senate, the Parliament, the Supreme Court, the military represented for the Speaker of the Throne. Brilliantly delivered, I might add, by His Majesty. You see the enthusiasm. And even for me. As much as your viewers might as much as your viewers might not believe it.
Has His Majesty reinforced Canada's sovereignty?
Our sovereignty is strong. Yeah, strong.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your
Okay.
time.
So are you flying back now?
Yeah,
Tomorrow back to London.
Tomorrow?
Well, a bit of the morning.
Yes, we've got the morning.
You're going to show us
You can live the dream. You can live the dream here, no? Okay, man.
Guard of honor.
Sorry?
Get this whole face.
I can't hear. That's the...
Guard of honor. By the left. Whack! March!
mean, bigger and bigger, as the Prime Minister has requested. There's some bold projects being thrown around. The notion of trade and energy corridors that move resources coast to coast from tidewater to resource base, that's great news for New Brunswick, because we have a refinery and LNG terminal, a deep water port, access to European and African markets that is ready to be fully realized. And we also have national leadership in housing and in defense and minerals that the world needs. And so I think it's a great time to be a New Brunswicker, and lots of opportunity to partner with my colleagues across the country.
And the PM wants to move quick, and you as a relatively freshly elected government, I think you want to move quick too.
I sure do. I am an impatient woman, and we have opportunities in New Brunswick ready to be realized for the benefit of New Brunswickers and Canadians.
Great. Premier Susan Holt, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Antoinette, thank you for letting. Did you have a question for Premier Holt by any chance?
No, I'm actually good. Thank you very much. I think you covered it all. I appreciate that,
All right.
David. Thank you so much.
But I want to, Premier Holt, thank you very much.
But I want to keep you there because expanding effectively
I'll
on
stay
the,
here.
effectively on the themes that
Thank you for your patience.
No, I much appreciated from you. And the Premier Holt discussing, of course, trade. That's a big issue interprovincially. I want to take a moment and throw to one of the clips from the King's speech, the speech from the throne just a short time ago, speaking on this. Let's take a listen.
The government's overarching goal, its core mission, is to build the strongest economy in the G7. That starts with creating one Canadian economy out of 13. Internal barriers to trade and labour mobility cost Canada as much as $200 billion each year. The government will introduce legislation to remove all remaining federal barriers to internal trade and labour mobility by Canada Day.
By Canada Day. I mean, lofty words, a lofty ambition. How realistic is it?
Yeah, and I'm glad you played that clip because I was thinking exactly about that. I was looking down. I was sitting in the chamber. I was one of the few journalists who won a lottery ticket to actually sit in the chamber. And I was watching Premiers Canoe and Holt, Pillai and the others when that came there. But there is some news in that clip, and it's this, Anthony. During the election campaign, and pretty much ever since, Carney has said he would remove barriers by Canada Day, not introduce legislation by Canada Day. And the Conservatives have certainly picked up on that, as did many journalists. And so I think that's something you're going to see. It's going to be the first question period of this new Parliament tomorrow, and the Prime Minister will be there. And I'm certain he's going to get some questions about this apparent delay now in removing those trade barriers. Yes, Premier Holt has been working at it. News today that Premier Canoe's government in Manitoba is trying to fast-track legislation through that provincial legislature before they rise for the summer. But here's some news essentially in that it's only legislation to remove barriers will be tabled by Canada Day, not the barriers themselves being removed. And that's something that I think everybody circled to say, you know, we did hear about the government has to move fast. The opportunities there, we need to move fast. Well, I don't think that'll be fast enough based on what he promised if the barriers are still in place on July the 1st.
Interesting, and we've seen some progress. Of course, Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Premier Wab Kinew of Manitoba signing some agreements, if you will, and New Brunswick part of that. But there are also some impediments, if you will, across this country and some resistance. Can you shed some light into that?
I'll just point out a couple. One's probably pretty obvious, and that is language. We have 2 official languages federally. And of course, many provinces have 2 official languages. New Brunswick is one of them. Obviously, Quebec is one of them. And so if you're a business and you want to sell goods into, let's say, Quebec, your good or product is going to have to meet language requirements. So that is a trade barrier. It's actually a trade barrier identified by the United States, that they feel that is an extra cost, et cetera. So that has to be dealt with. Do I think there'd be much resistance to saying, let's get rid of official language requirements? I don't think so. And again, Premier Legault in Quebec would find an ally, and I think Premier Ford, certainly a lot of Franco-Ontarians, Premier Holt in New Brunswick. So that's one issue. Then we have sort of what I'll call entrenched interests, and that would be, for instance, liquor retailing. Right now, the provinces, in many cases, are the monopoly liquor retailer, and in many cases, the monopoly liquor wholesaler. And right now, here in Ontario, I can't get those beautiful Okanagan wines, and people in BC who want to have Niagara ice wine can't get that. And there are entrenched interests, mostly on the retail wholesale side, controlled by governments, and because there's a lot of money in that business. So that's just two where things will have to be sorted out in order for that kind of interprovincial trade to happen. There's some safety issues. I'll just highlight one more. The trucking industry, for example. There's different regulations about how long a truck can be on the road, depending on the jurisdictions. There's different regulations about the actual physical size of cargo containers. So if you hit one border and you got the wrong container, you got to unload and reload. The transportation industry has all sorts of local specific regulations, and those are the kind of interprovincial trade barriers that may be a bit thorny. And some of those, again, the federal government has nothing to do with them. Those are province to province to province meetings that have to take place.
All right, many themes, of course, in the speech from the throne, read by the king, but effectively written by the government. And many themes: building new relationships with the United States. We talk about border security, building a stronger Canada. We also talk about reducing the public service, if you will, and responding to the issues with the provinces, as we touched on. The balance payments, the transfer payments, are going to remain the same, are they not? I want to get back to some of the politics of it, but also the significance of today. The fact that the king is paying a visit to Canada, giving the speech from the throne. More than 150 speeches from the throne given since Confederation, but only the third time that a monarch has given it in Canada, in Ottawa. Can you shed some light on the significance of this day?
Yeah, and aside from the obvious significance of sending a message to the Americans, it is also sort of a reaffirmation, I suppose, of our tradition, our history. And you know, when Queen Elizabeth II passed, there was a lot of people in Canada who said, well, she was a very unique woman, and her favorable ratings, Ipsos, our polling partner, has polled on Canada's attitudes about the monarchy for decades. You know, Elizabeth's favorables were at 80% plus. Charles had never been had never been a popular royal, not even the most popular. He'd been, in fact, decidedly unpopular at times during while he was the Prince of Wales. Now, Charles got a Trump bump, just like a lot of politicians did. And his favorables, this is according to Ipsos, the polling last week, in Canada are now at 41%. Remember, Queen Elizabeth was 80. Charles is at 41%, which is actually pretty good for Charles, and an improvement of 4 or 5 points from this time last year. Queen Camilla, she's at 25% favorables. Maybe the couple of days here will boost her numbers, who knows. But I guess the point is people are thinking about, Canadians, will use the King's visit to reflect on the institutions in our society, institutions that give us our heritage, institutions that bind us. And in the same breath, I want to note that the Bloc Québécois MPs boycotted this particular speech because for them, Charles is a foreign king. You know, it's not part of the Bloc Québécois agenda to bow to a foreign king. So they did not attend this event here in the Senate of Canada. They stayed in their offices, they didn't listen to it, and they just read the speech. And even the New Democrats, the NDP interim leader, Don Davies, was also saying he wondered about the appropriateness at this time of bringing in the king of another country. Charles is technically king of Canada as well as king of other countries. But nonetheless, you get the point that it gets us thinking and discussing about the things that make us Canadian, and certainly in the Prime Minister's view, certainly in the view of many Conservatives, that the monarchy is part and parcel of Canada and what makes Canada special.
And of course, part of Canada's present. Discuss, if you will, just the response. We assume and we can understand the incredibly warm reception that the King and Queen Camilla received, not just in the Senate by all the dignitaries, of course, that is expected, but on the streets of Ottawa. Can you describe the reception that the royals received? Because, you know, looking at the crowds, incredibly loud, jubilant, if you will, and certainly the warm weather helped.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has been just 2 great days after, Anthony, you're in Toronto, you had the same cold weather we did last week, but 2 great days of weather, that helps. And yes, if you watched our colleague Mackenzie Gray's piece on the National News last night, it was great to see people had traveled from Maryland. Royal watchers, American royal watchers, came up because they wanted to see the King and Queen. So the reception was fantastic, there's no question about it. I'm just trying to think. I was not on any Elizabeth tours during her time, but I was here in Ottawa when Kate and Will came to town. That was during Stephen Harper's time as Prime Minister, and Kate and Will had just been married. And that was off the charts because they are right now the most popular royals. So it sort of depends. So it was a great reception, I think, that Charles and Camilla got. And I thought the programming was particularly smart. He landed yesterday, and the first thing he did was this essentially meet and greet at Lansdowne Park and the pavilion around Lansdowne Park. So Ottawans could say hi. He toured some artisan shops. People were making falafel. And I thought that was really smart programming before he ended up at the Palace here in Canada, Rideau Hall. Get out and meet and greet with some people. So I would say the reception, listening to local talk radio, reading sort of social media posts, not a lot of complaints about this visit, and a lot of people saying it's a good thing to see.
One thing is interesting as well, the fact that it takes place in the Senate chamber and the Senate building in this case. Give us and give our viewers a sense of the history there, the significance of that, and why specifically this building. And I just want to interrupt one moment because that is the vehicle we understand that is carrying King Charles III and his wife Queen Camilla. This is on the tarmac of the airport as they are set to board the plane, the Canadian Armed Forces plane, and eventually that will be taking off to the UK after a 2-day visit. A very important visit, very quick visit, but certainly a lot of attention paid to this. Perhaps, I mean, the last time he was here was in 2022. He and his wife Camilla, part of the Platinum Jubilee to celebrate the Queen's 70 years on the throne. This is the King's first visit as monarch, his 20th visit to Canada, in fact. He spent not just on official visits, but also vacations. There's a famous shot of him and his sons vacationing and skiing in British Columbia. But there you see him walking to an incredibly warm reception. He's spending a lot of time speaking to not just the Prime Minister in the Senate chamber and speaking for many minutes, wasn't he, David, but also just the numerous MPs spending time with various representatives, with premiers, etc. And you could just get a sense of how warmly he is received. And you have to wonder, this is certainly welcome news for the Buckingham Palace as well, who may have questions, is he going to be received well in Canada and other countries? And this is certainly an indication that the monarchy, for many people, still alive and well.
Yeah, and there was a significant international press component that was on tour with him. You mentioned at the top, Anthony, it's worth remembering why all this takes place in the Senate. And I always like to use these things for little history lessons. I don't know if you can see the portraits that are on the wall behind me. Again, I'm in the Senate chamber. I'm just outside the actual Senate. Those are all portraits of French kings. Because, of course, through our history, the history of the land that would become Canada, the monarch of France was the top monarch. And we start down there on the left with Henry II was the one who funded Jacques Cartier to come to Canada and discover the first European contact. We move over to Henry III, who was the one who said to Samuel de Champlain, here's the cash to go found Quebec City. Louis XIV, the great Sun King, that was New France flourished. And then we go to Louis XVI at the end over there. He's the guy who lost the joint when the Brits took over. And elsewhere in the Senate chamber, you will see pictures of all the British monarchs, going back to Queen Victoria, the various King Georges, 1, 2, 3, and so on, up to 5. And I don't know if King Charles has a portrait of him as king here yet. His mom and his granddad did. The point of all that is, this is how we also remember our heritage and our history, both French and English. And there are more and more indigenous symbols as well that are also now part of the ceremony here in the Senate.
David, we always appreciate your insight and your time. Thank you so much. That is our chief political correspondent, David Aiken, joining us from, of course, Ottawa. Thank you again, sir. Always great to talk to you.
Thanks.
All right. I want to bring in right now royal expert Patricia Treble, a good friend of the show. And of course, we've spoken numerous times over many years for different occasions. Patricia, she joins us from Ottawa. Patricia, I don't know if you can hear me now, but we really appreciate you joining us. And I understand, I just want to see if we have her. Do we have connection with Patricia? Okay, Patricia.
Yes.
I just want to, first of all, thank you so much. And I understand that you were with the Royals just a moment ago at the National War Memorial. This is where they laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Describe what that moment was like.
Well, this is really quite something, because normally when you have, openings of Parliament, you go to Parliament and you just leave Parliament. Whereas this time they walked from the Senate up to the cenotaph to honor the war dead. And of course the King mentioned the sacrifices that Canada's militaries have made in the past. He referenced the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. So I think the symbolism of his last engagement in Canada, being at the cenotaph, was huge. It said everything. It said, we have sacrificed before, and we are prepared, of course, to do it again if we need to. And when he laid the wreath and the Queen laid the flowers on the tomb of the unknown soldier, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop. There were thousands in the crowds around there, and it was just complete, utter silence. And I think it was the solemnity of that moment. He very much is, on this trip, King of Canada. I mean, we talk about it. I talk about it. I always say to everyone, he's not the British King. He's the King of Canada. But I think really for this trip, everyone understood that. And especially at that moment, he had the Order of Canada insignia around his neck. He had all his medals, including his Canadian Forces Long Service Medal. And it was just one of those moments that you just wanted to just hold on to. And I think they did too, because King Charles III and Queen Camilla took a long time actually saying goodbye to everyone. They took a long time, waving to the crowd, talking to people. And then what was fascinating was, as only a monarch can do, as he's driving away, his windows are down. He's waving to everyone in a way that the security conscious politicians often don't do.
Can you shed some light on how the monarchy currently is being received? And you have to wonder how that has changed, especially in light of the international events, the Canada-U.S. trade war, and the renewed sense of national unity that some people discuss. How have you viewed this change and that sentiment across this country?
Exactly. I mean, the monarchy in Canada is always kind of a victim of benign neglect. It's there. We never really think about it. Let's face it, our monarch does not live in Canada. That does not contribute to a knowledge of the crown. But it's always kind of, been that way, muddling along. And then suddenly in the last few months, it was that realization that having a monarch, having a monarchy, having a crown is a good thing. And seeing the benefits that can impart on Canada as we face, let's face it, this existential threat from the man who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And really the fact that he is the embodiment of Canada. So having him come over for this trip is I think, significant. I think what everyone took away, whether you agree with the monarchy or not, you took away with the fact that for him to come, more than 5,000 kilometers for essentially 24 hours sends a signal. It sends a signal that he is the King of Canada, and now and in the future.
One would have to assume this is obviously welcome news, not just for the new Prime Minister Mark Carney, his government, and for many Canadians, and a renewed sense of I guess, connection with the monarchy, but also incredibly important for Buckingham Palace and those, not just for the monarchy, but also the UK government, as so much of the discussion is focused on renewed partnerships and the fact that the UK is no longer part of the European Union. You have to wonder if it's as important for them as well. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it is. I mean, the fact that Canada is really, as the throne speech said, as you referenced, looking out for new partnerships. I mean, we're we're looking out across the Atlantic to Britain, to Europe. That's the sort of thing that the fact that we already have such close ties with Britain will help. I think some of in the UK government were a little apprehensive of what might happen because, of course, they have their own fraught relationship, as do all of the King's 15 realms with Donald Trump. Everyone has to deal with Donald Trump. And I think they were a little worried that they didn't want, the Canadian government in the throne speech putting words that could come back in the King's mouth that would come back to haunt the British government. I didn't see anything in there that would. And of course, the UK government has invited the president for a state visit, and the King, in his role as the British King, will be hosting. He's used to this sort of thing, but it can be a little bewildering for, I think, some others.
And the optics must certainly help. And I touched on this with David. The warm weather in May, at least it's not November in Ottawa, or December certainly for the beginning of the legislative session. But certainly the crowds on the streets of Ottawa and the warm welcome that he is receiving, certainly good optics from a public relations perspective, not just for the government of Canada, but for Buckingham Palace as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this entire 24-hour visit. It was geared around one thing, which is Canada's sovereignty, and so everything from the arrival to the huge crowds of the community event at Lansdowne Park, then to Rideau Hall, then the Senate House, everything was geared around that. And I mean, yes, the weather completely cooperated. A little bit of rain at Rideau Hall, I will say, but nothing serious. And the fact that there was just simply one singular focus, it wasn't, a 5-day or a 6-day or a 12-day visit, I think really helped it. Because everyone knew what to expect from this, and everyone knew that every event was going to inform that central theme, which is promoting Canada's sovereignty. And I think in a way that the fact that it was so short is what made it so successful. And I think it certainly has been successful. If you look at the world press, and all the world press are here. There were Australians beside me. There were people from the United States. This is getting a lot of attention around the world. And the central theme of the King coming home to Canada was what was resonating.
Patricia, it is so great to talk to you again. Thank you so much. And as I speak to you, we see King Charles III and Queen Camilla boarding the Canadian Armed Forces plane, waving to the crowd. They spent a little more than 24 hours in the nation's capital. The first visit for the monarchs in Ottawa. The first visit as monarchs, if you will, the official visit. King Charles' 20th visit to Canada. Short but incredibly significant, not just from a political but from a public relations perspective. Patricia, thank you so much, as always. That was our royal expert, Patricia Treble. And thank you for joining us for King Charles in Canada, our special coverage of this historic event. And as we leave you right now, the plane about to depart from the airport. Thank you once again. I'm Anthony Robart.
So I was waiting for.
you have to give it back to Canadian Heritage later. Bring it over. Sorry.
Because I want to satisfy the food. Yeah.
Whoever's available. Well, we can come back to another meeting.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, for now, leave the outside ones. Don't worry about those for now. Because those are safe. Okay, thank you. And I know they got the risers off the road. We're just waiting for the truck for the bleachers. Awesome, thank you. Like be a photographer with my phone on? Yes!
I can give you a portrait and landscape.
Tell them come
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I just really want to be
Thank you so much. So good to see you. We need to get together.
We
have to, yes, that's it. And we'll have to tell Olga too?
Yeah.
We have to go, all of us have to meet up with her.
Yeah, absolutely. And even we can go and drive to Montreal one day.
Oh, that'd be fun. Ellie would be oh,
yeah.
She'd be thrilled.
Yes, I'm like, I've been asking and I've been like,
I know.
Anyway, do you know that diplomat is back? Do you want to go party on Saturday? I'll text you.
Thursday? Yeah, I'm free Thursday. Awesome.
Yeah, no.
What? I'm free so far Thursday, yeah. So I'm all yours. Okay.
Well, that's the international airport right there. Yeah, that's the terminal right there. This is like the Canada-U.S.
We'll be in touch.
Only the important people.